Okay, this is section 6.4. The properties that you see listed here are just your properties for exponents that you've used for the last few years now. If you want to pause this so you can copy it down in your notes, then just pause it, because I'm not going to, leave the video running long enough for you to copy it. But like the first one, for example, when you're multiplying, you're supposed to add your exponents, power to a power, you multiply your exponents. When you're dividing, you subtract your exponents. And this is the situation that when you have a negative exponent, then you need to move it. So like for instance, this is understood to be over 1, so you're to take it and move it to the denominator, and when you do, it causes your sign of your exponent to go from negative to positive, okay? And it would work, like if you even had 1 over a to the negative m, and it started out on the bottom, you could take it and move it to the top, which would cause your exponent then to change to a positive. So of course, so that's understood to be over 1, so that means it's in your numerator. Okay, so here are the first examples that we're going to end up working. All right, so this is just going through, and again, just using your exponent rules. First thing that you would need to take care of here is you have a power to a power. So our exponent rule tells us to multiply these two things. So if you do 2/3 times -1, then that's going to give you x to the negative 2/3. Okay, so I've ended up with a negative exponent. So what I was explaining about being able to rewrite this so you'll have a positive exponent, that's what you're going to have to do, because your final answer, you cannot leave a negative exponent in your final answer. So like right now, all of this is understood to be over 1. So you need to take just this. You don't take the whole numerator, just the part that's got the negative exponent, and move it to the bottom. So your final answer would be 5 over x to the positive 2/3. Okay, next. Now remember, if you need to pause as I'm going through any of these, then you just need to pause it and then copy down the problem. All right, next. Okay, actually using the same rule that we just finished using, power to a power, then I need to multiply, but I'd have to apply that to each of these. So if I do 2/3 times -12, that's going to end up giving me what, -8? And then here I would have to do -1/6 times -12, so that would end up giving me a +2. Now again, I've got to do a step here of rewriting because I have the negative exponent. All of this is understood to be over 1. This will be the only part that you're going to move. You leave this on the top, and when I move x to the -8 to the bottom, then that's going to cause the sign of the exponent to change to be positive. Okay, the next one. Okay, still actually using the same concept as I did on the last problem, except I've got a fraction this time. But each of these you have to raise to the 15th power. And again, it's a power to a power here, a power to a power here. So you'll end up multiplying, again, like I said, just like I did earlier. Okay, so first of all, -2/3 times 15. So that's going to give me -10. So x to the -10. And then here power to a power, so you multiply. So -1/3 times 5 is going to give us -5. Now this time, both of my exponents are negative. So this one's on the top, it's got to come to the bottom. This one on the bottom's got to come to the top. So it's going to look like you just took it and flipped it. But now you'll have y to the +5 on the top, x to the +10 on the bottom. So that would be your final answer on that one. Now, as far as working with these fractions that you're going to have in this section, I mean, if you're not good at doing the multiplying in your head, or you don't want to go over to the side and do it, I mean, just use your calculator to help you out with all of this. Okay, next. A couple more examples here. Now, on this one, you're just simply multiplying these together. So going back to your exponent rules, when you multiply, you are supposed to add your exponents. Okay, now I'm going to go over here to the side. We've got to add them. You've got a calculator. Like I said, that'll help you out with this. You would have to get a common denominator of 10. So you're going to end up with 5/10 plus 3/10, which is going to give us 8/10. Of course, that then would reduce, each of those you could reduce by 2. So your final answer, you would have y to the 4/5. Like I said, use a calculator to help you out with the fractions if need be. Okay, the next one that I have here is dividing. Okay, so if you look back at the rules that we wrote down at the beginning, when you're dividing, you're supposed to subtract your exponents. Okay, so again, I'll just come down here this time. 5/7 minus 3/14. So it has to be this one minus this one. Make sure you subtract in the right order. Again, you have to have a common denominator, which would need to be 14. So 7 and 14 2 times, so 2 times 5 gives us 10. So when you subtract, you get 7/14. And I'll just go ahead and reduce it here this time. So that would give us 1/2. So my answer here would be y to the 1/2 power.